G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the Scooby-Doo Forever channel, and today I have a bit of an interesting one. I'll be doing my top 10 Scooby-Doo episodes that should not exist. Obviously this is going to be quite controversial, and yeah, feel free to leave your opinion on my ratings in the comments below. Obviously, I've made this based on my opinion, and yeah, try not to get offended by my opinion, because the name or the title, I guess, of this video is top 10 Scooby-Doo monsters, or sorry, episodes that shouldn't exist. But in my opinion, these episodes probably all should exist, most of them. I've also tried to limit the series to, I think I've got maybe 4 or 5 different series in here, and let's just say they're mostly from the original shows, just like Where Are You, the new Scooby-Doo movies, the Scooby-Doo show, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, the first season, and I've also got Mystery Incorporated in here as well, just to, try and, I guess, raise the stakes a bit. So I definitely could have whacked a lot of Guess Who episodes, Be Cool episodes, other Scrappy-Doo episodes in there. I could have just put the entire series of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo and even Shaggy Get a Clue, but I want this video to be a little bit more interesting than that. So I've tried to pick 10 episodes that I feel have some popularity, or at least a little bit of popularity. I think I do know at least one person that likes all of these episodes. But yeah, there's definitely a few bold ones in there. I might get slammed for these, calls in the comments below by you Scooby fans. But yeah, then again, like I said earlier, it's my opinion. 10 episodes that I feel were a bit of a waste. I felt like they could have made an episode much, much, much better. There's lots of work that's gone into this video as well. I've been planning this video for such a long time, having different ideas popping through my head in and out on what I should do, what series I should include, what episodes I should include, whether it should just be my top 10 worst episodes from these 5 series. But no, they're just 10 episodes that I feel have some popularity that I disliked and felt overrated and wasted, really. Anyways, a lot of explanation into this one. I'll stop yapping and I'll just get straight into the rating. So yeah, placing in at number 10th is my only Scooby-Doo Where Are You episode on this list. It's Decoy for a Dog Napper. Now this one is probably most people's least favourite from the Where Are You show, especially from season 1. Season 1 had some bangers in there and didn't really have too many disappointments, but this one certainly was one. It was quite an earlier episode, I believe episode 5, was it? Of the show, so yeah, it was fairly early on, and yeah, I didn't really enjoy the episode at all, and I never really have, and I felt like it has a little bit of popularity here and there, but still, it's memorable, but it's memorable for a bad thing. It's memorable for being the worst episode of the very first franchise of Scooby-Doo. It's not memorable for many good things, I'll just say that. And yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. I didn't like the witch doctor. Geronimo was a bit weird. The mystery wasn't that great. I'm not a big dog person as well, so that obviously, kind of makes sense. I mean, I say that, I'm not a big dog person, but when I'm watching Scooby-Doo anyways, it doesn't really matter. Bit of a weird one as well. The jokes weren't great in it. Yeah, spookiness and atmosphere as well was a bit of a letdown compared to some of the other Where Are You episodes. So yeah, I've just whacked it in here. It's better than a lot of the episodes on here, I'll just say. I'm not saying that it is my top 10, worst from these 5 series. I'm just saying that I've just whacked it in this video. Hopefully I haven't offended anyone, but I think I certainly will with a couple coming up. But yeah, anyways, moving on to 9th place. This one, yeah, was a pretty big letdown for a pretty disappointingly rated show from Scooby fans, obviously involving Scrappy Doo. It's hard for everyone to, sit through it when, you've got someone very, very, very annoying, throughout the whole entire series. And obviously, this isn't my worst episode. It absolutely is not my worst episode from this show. In fact, the two episodes, spoiler alert, I have two from this series that are on here, are not my least favourite from the show. The episode Ransom from a Scooby Chief is not on this list, but I feel sucks. Just sucks. I hate it so much. It's so bloody bad. It's so bad it doesn't even get on this list because it should be on a do not exist list. But like I said earlier, and what I've been trying to say, this really isn't a top 10 episodes that shouldn't exist. They're just, I've just named it that because I couldn't really come up with anything better. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop yapping now. Get straight on to his ninth is Rocky Mountain Yee. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have absolutely no idea. I've never really heard of the final word. But anyways, it's a bit of a weird episode, this one, and definitely people's probably, top 3 least favourite, I want to say, from this show. Certainly is for me. Probably because the ghost wasn't very memorable. I don't even remember what his name was. But he was like a big, like, lumberjack sort of looking guy. And he was very, very, very forgettable. And much was this episode, I feel like lots of people do like the Scooby-Doo episodes with, them in their winter kits and, people loving the snow and all that. You'd think this episode would be, a little bit better than what people rank it, but no, it wasn't. It was a pretty big letdown. The plot and mystery had something going on for it, at least. Definitely better than Decoy for a Dog Napper. But when you've got other things disappointing it and, lowering it, plus the new voice actor of Velma that I found very, very irritating through these back ends of the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show season 1, and I definitely felt Scrappy as well was quite annoying in this episode as well, which didn't help. With all these little things, plus the ghost looking a bit silly, this one I do hate, I guess, more than Decoy for a Dog Napper. But just because it isn't that popular, I feel like it should be higher. Yeah, I don't know. Weird. I really, really, really tried to explain why this one's higher than Decoy for a Dog Napper. Also because it has, like, no popularity, I guess. But yeah, 8th as well. Another episode that I feel that has no popularity. It's the only episode, strangely enough. Actually, no, it's not. My bad. Yeah, that was my bad. Correction. There is 2 episodes on here from the new Scooby-Doo movies that I have on this list. Probably my 2 least favourite as well from the show. I'm actually surprised about that because I felt like there was going to be a little bit more. But then again, most of the episodes are just mediocre, I feel, from that show. But these 2 definitely stand out as probably being the worst. And in 8th spot is Spirit Spooked Sports Show. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the episode, but where do I even start with this one? Obviously, it's from the new Scooby-Doo movies, so it was a 40-minute episode, and the 40-minute episodes suck. They just cannot nail them. They didn't nail maybe not even one of them. There might have been one episode from this series that was nailed, like in terms of a 10 out of 10. This one's probably below a 5 out of 10 and has 0 popularity. Tim Conway is just so... I guess he's really, really unpopular as well as a guest star, but he's just so weird. I did not like his personality at all, and obviously the ghost as well. When it doesn't help when it's probably the worst ghost from the series. So much boredom throughout this episode. Nothing happening. There was some spooky atmosphere to start off with, but then it just died off as soon as we were introduced to the ghost and Tim Conway, who's, a comedian. And he's a bit of a silly guy as well. And all the characters as well in this episode were just so forgettable. The mystery as well. I could rant all day about how bad this episode is. but the video's already gone for quite a while, so I'll leave it at that. Moving on to 7th is the first episode that I have on here from Mystery Incorporated. Now, obviously, look, it's hard to fault this series, but I have found somehow I've found a way to fault this series, and I feel like there might have been I don't even know. There's probably under 10 of these episodes, and I think I've put 3 of them on here that have absolutely no relevance to the entire show. Like the overall mystery, it has either no Pericles because it was in season 1, or none of the old Mystery Inc. It doesn't have, the romance, I guess, that I find enjoyable from the show. Yeah, I just felt they just existed. They were just like, I don't know, they were weird episodes. Anyway, it's hard to explain. They had no relevance really to the overall mystery as an overall series. They were just episodes on there just because of the sake of it. They were weird. I don't know why they included that or them. I guess. And I've whacked 3 on here. The first one I have here in 7th place on this rating is Night Fright. Yeah, this was an episode that had nothing to do with the overall mystery of the town, and had no Pericles in it, had none of the old Mystery Inc. in it, had no basically romance in it at all, had barely even had Velma, Daphne, and Fred in it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they showed up with like not even 10 minutes to go. They showed up with like 6 minutes left to go in the episode or something like that. It was just Shaggy and Scooby and Vincent Van Gogh. It was such a weird episode for Mystery Incorporated. They've absolutely just wasted an episode that they could have just completely dedicated to the original Mystery Incorporated or something like that, or even push one of the season 2 episodes earlier, like Dreamweaver or something. I don't know what the actual episode is. I just remember the name of the villain from that episode, but oh well. And then add another episode to the final 3-part conclusion to the series that I felt needed maybe an episode or 2 more. That's the only thing I can fault from this bloody amazing, awesome Scooby-Doo show. But yeah, oh well. Moving on to the next one in 6th place. My first episode from the Scooby-Doo show on here. It's the creepy creature of Vulture's Claw. Now, this one is going to be very, very, very controversial, that's for sure, especially in the top 10 episodes that should not exist from Scooby-Doo. Wow. What have I done to myself? But anyways, the reason why I don't like this one, I think most of you would know by now that I do not like the oil plots. They're really, really, really weird and silly. I just don't like them. There's just something about them. It's hard to explain that I just do not like. This is actually the only episode on here with an oil plot, but because it was from such a good show, like the Scooby-Doo show, definitely the best out of all the original shows. Definitely top 3 for Scooby-Doo shows that, are my favourite. And yeah, this episode stands out from all the other ones because it has the oil plot. Sure, there is another episode in that show that has an oil plot, at least that I can remember. This one was better than it, but this one stands out because it could have been so, so, so good, this episode. I would have loved to have seen more spookiness. I think the madness was underutilized so, so, so much. The characters were underwhelming. The mystery as well. They could have done so much with this episode, but it was just a big, big, big waste. I still enjoy a lot of the episode, and that's because this show is bloody amazing. But boy, oh boy, this could have been a good one. And that's the reason why it's on this list. It just stands out from all the other ones from the Scooby-Doo show, I feel. Same with the next one. In 5th spot, also from the Scooby-Doo show, A Highland Fling with a Monstrous Thing. I think that's how you pronounce the episode name. But this is my least favourite from the show. And then again, this one might be a little bit, biased from me. And Very, very, very opinion based. But it's on here because I simply just don't like it. It stands out again from all the other Scooby Doo show episodes because it's the worst. It just simply sucks compared to all the other ones. The other ones, well, I reckon the next best episode, well, the next worst episode, I should say, my bad, in 39th or something from the show is probably the Jaguara episode. Jeepers, it's the Jaguara, I believe. And, yeah, look, that one was definitely a lot better than this one. Almost probably 2 points, or maybe even 3, maybe, points rated higher. I'd probably give this one maybe a 4 out of 10. I'd give like the Jaguaro like a 6 out of 10, something like that. So, yeah, I'm just using that as a bit of an example. It just stands out from all the other episodes from the show because I honestly enjoy most of literally every single episode from the Scooby Doo show except this one. Basically, that's why. It's the outlier from the show, and that's why it's on here. It simply has to go on here. No one likes it as well. Literally, I know no one who likes this episode, so it just simply has to go on here. Like, they could have just made a really, really, really good episode. You know, I mean, this one's in season 3 as well. Season 3 was bloody fantastic. So again, it stands out. I felt like if they just chucked this episode aside and just scrapped it, they could have had an extra episode of the Scooby Doo show that could be amazing. Then bloody hell, that gets you thinking, doesn't it? Because if you get, there's another bloody amazing Scooby Doo show episode, that's just going to bump all the ratings down. And, you know, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm trying to say that this episode was a big outlier from a bloody amazing show. Now, moving on to 4th, continuing on with the Mystery Incorporated episodes that have really no relevance of being an episode, really. And this one, again, is going to be very controversial. Mystery Solvers Club State Finals. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, this one's pretty popular, actually, so you might be surprised why it's on here. But I just don't like anything about the episode, apart from the ghost. Lord Inferdicus, my goodness, definitely the best villain on this list, by far. Definitely, maybe not. But yeah, it's definitely up there for Mystery Incorporated. Like, very, very, very memorable. Like, no one's going to forget who he is. But everything, except, like, everything else in this episode, apart from Lord Inferdicus, is shit. Yeah, it's just shocking. Why did they make this episode? Again, they could have dedicated another episode to a conclusion of Mystery Incorporated. They could have made it a 4 or 5 episode, 6 episode part thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something that I'm pretty passionate about, you know, being passionate about Mystery Incorporated now. I've found a fault in a bloody amazing show. And the fault is they have some really, really, really odd choices for episodes that just have no relevance of being episodes for Mystery Incorporated. But anyways, moving on to number 3. So this is, top 3, big reveal, drum roll, pretty crazy. But these 3 episodes I think should not exist, and I hate them all. And third, another Mystery Incorporated episode that has no relevance, especially when it's blang straight in the middle of season 2 as well. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. It had a little bit, little teensy weensy, maybe all up 10 seconds of relevance, and it had nothing to do. Well, it had something to do with the overall mystery, and Daphne and Fred and all that, which is kind of good, but it had nothing to do with this episode. And we get Mr. E in it, which is kind of good, but yeah, he shut up for nothing. I think you guys can probably guess the episode. It's Heart of Evil, which kind of guest starred Dynamite and Blue Falcon. I don't know why the hell they put them in Mystery Incorporated, but them being darker, I don't know. That kind of upset me. I like the classic Blue Falcon and Dynamite, not this weird, darker, evil, like bloodthirsty Blue Falcon. Dynamite was, a lot better than the Blue Falcon I felt in this episode. But yeah, look, bloody hell, what an episode. Definitely my least favourite from a very, very, very good show. You know, Mystery Incorporated, it does have some faults. It does have some bad episodes. And yeah, this one, Jesus, it was definitely the worst from that show. But yeah, anyways, moving on to second place, runner-up, my least favourite from the new Scooby-Doo movies. It's lots of people's least favourite as well. I do actually know someone, little bit of a shout out to all about Scooby-Doo and more, who has this episode as their favourite from the new Scooby-Doo movies, and is probably going to be very, very, very pissed to see this one being runner-up on a top 10 episodes of Scooby-Doo that should not exist. But oh well, it's Mystery in Persia. Yeah, Mystery in Persia. Wow. Why does this episode exist is a question that I've asked myself heaps and heaps and heaps of times. I'm not sure if all about Scooby-Doo and more has asked themselves why this episode should exist. Probably because they've still been thinking about how good this episode is for them. You know, of course, this is very, very, very opinion based. And yeah, try not to get offended, but yeah, I just like absolutely zero about this episode. If I could give it a 0 out of 10, I mean, I probably wouldn't flinch. Like, I haven't seen this episode now in probably 3-4 years, maybe. Well, it certainly felt like it. I don't remember all the characters' names because, you know, it's been years now. But yeah, gee. I hated all the characters. I hated all the settings they visited. I hated Genie and the other Genie, the two Genies and the two guys as the guest stars. Wow. I could go on and on and on and on about how much I hate this one, but I think it's probably better if I don't. Let's just say has no popularity apart from maybe a sliver. And yeah. Also, the villain, Jadal or whatever. I'm surprised I remembered that. It might not even be the name of the evil genie, but yeah, he was not that memorable. He wasn't the worst though from the new Scooby-Doo movie. So there is that. One episode that should not exist from Scooby-Doo. It's also from the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show, which, you know, had Scrappy in it, which doesn't help. Wow. I don't know if I want to go on and on and on about how much this episode sucks. So I've already done a review of the episode. Yeah, it's up on the channel. Reviewed it not too long ago, maybe like a year or two ago now. Probably year and a half. I don't know. But yeah, the episode is When You Wish Upon a Star Creature. Now, where do I even start? This one's, I feel, is similar with a creepy creature from Vulture's Claw. With like, I think there's 4 you know, possible suspects and bad guys, and you don't really know which one it's gonna be, which is, you know, I think I've heard that explanation before for these episodes, which is why people like them. But yeah, I don't know about that. Star Creature was horrible. Absolutely hate him. Scrappy was horrible in this episode. I'm pretty sure we got the new Velma, the annoying Velma voice actor, which obviously didn't help. I don't think it would have done much, to be honest, if the good Velma was in this one. I don't even remember which one we actually got now. I think we might have actually gotten the good Velma. Yeah, I don't know. All the characters sucked. The setting sucked. The episode sucked, and I never want to watch it again, and I never want to see it again. I've already reviewed it. There's a reason why I did that. It's because I never want to bloody speak about this episode again, but obviously here I am now speaking about it. And yeah, let's just say I really, really, really want it to not exist. I wish I'd never watched this episode. Well, I feel I'm going a little bit too far here. But yeah, let's just say maybe the three, maybe about three of these episodes on here, I think probably shouldn't exist, and they're you know, one, two, and three, which I guess makes sense. The other seven I've kind of just whacked on there to, you know, make this video. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. It was a bit of a long one. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.